Title: Update, she's been unfaithful, I'm delivering divorce documents. I heard the garage door open and turned on the camera. She walked in, completely unaware. I told her she needed to sit down because we had to talk. Hi everybody! I'm leading a goal of 100,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and I truly believe we can achieve it together. So if you could hit that subscribe button, it would really mean a lot to me. We're back with another story. This is an update to the one I shared yesterday. Some of you might have already read or heard it. Great, kudos to you, but for those who haven't, let's get into it. So here's the second update. Just a heads up, I started writing this the day it happened, and I'm not going to rewrite it. So if some of my feelings don't exactly match what my comments have been saying in the last couple of days, that's why. I've got some things to handle today, so I might not respond to anything for a while. I confronted her. She tried to lie. I presented evidence. She still tried to lie. She's currently staying at her parents' place and is still trying to deceive me. I never want to go through anything like this ever again. This was the single most difficult thing I've ever had to do, and I'm shaking uncontrollably at times now. She left today, either for work or for Christmas, not really sure where she went, but she's gone. Tried to check her location, and either she turned off location sharing or my phone was acting up. I didn't have the means to serve her, that comes later this week. I'm trying to stay composed, but I had to confront her before she realized what I was doing, so she wouldn't have more time to concoct believable lies. I heard the garage door open and turned on the camera. She walked in, completely oblivious. I told her she needed to sit down because we had to talk. She gave me a deer-in-the-headlights look but sat down and asked what was wrong. I asked, why don't you tell me? She played dumb, but I could see she knew she'd been caught. She kept asking me what's wrong. I asked her what's really going on with Chris, and she said nothing, that she hadn't heard from him. Wow. I redirected and decided not to confront her directly, telling her that I was uncomfortable with her working with him and that it wasn't something I could get over. She instantly agreed, very nervously, and asked why I'd changed my mind so quickly and why I was acting the way I was. I just shook my head and said something like, I wanted to be understanding about it, but I got weird vibes from him. I'd prefer if you two didn't talk. She insisted that he didn't mean anything to her anymore, that she was just happy to see the book get made. I told her that he basically stole from her and that she was being way too forgiving about that fact, that she should sue him over it. She agreed with me. By now, she probably thought she'd gotten out of this and was planning to cut things off with Chris as soon as she could. Then I told her that the whole thing had really stressed me out and that I was going to take next week off work. I told her that I talked with my ex and she agreed to keep my son that weekend so I could go to Vegas with her. That's why I was talking to my ex for so long the other day, working out the details of her taking my son, or at least that's what I wanted her to think. She gave me a blank stare. I started talking about how the virus has shut down a lot of things and I wasn't even sure what's open in Vegas. She cut me off and told me that it was actually canceled today. The conversation from here went like this, paraphrased, of course. Me, it got canceled last month. Her, no, he told us today because he wasn't sure whether or not it was off until today. Me, I know it got canceled last month. Her, what are you doing? Why are you telling me you want to go and then telling me it's canceled? I don't get what you're doing. Me, it was canceled last month. What were you going to do if I didn't ask about it? Her, you're freaking me out. It was canceled today. Me, what were you going to do? Her, what are you accusing me of? Me, how long have you and Chris been back together? Her, we haven't done anything. Did he tell you we were? Me, don't lie to me. I don't want to read off everything he texted, it almost made me throw up doing it the first time. I can't believe you do this. Her, I love you. I'm sorry. He's been texting me a lot lately and saying a lot of messed up stuff, and I don't know how to deal with it. I wanted to tell you this, but I was afraid you'd do what you're doing now. I was just hoping he'd stop on his own. Me, you didn't see him for 8 years, and 20 minutes after he got off the plane, you slept with him. Her, what plane? What are you reading? Me, he lives on such and such street. Do you want to stop this? Just admit what you did so we can move forward with this. Why did you tell me he lived on the East Coast? Her, did he say something to you? He lies constantly, it's part of the reason why we broke up. I told you that. I know I shouldn't have responded to his messages. It's always drama with him. All his messages were fine, but he started with the missing me stuff again, like always. I was going to tell you. Wow. Me, he wanted you to come home and kiss me after you were with him. I read your messages. I saw them in your email and in your texts. You're cheating on me, and I want you out of this house today. Her, what? I'm not cheating on you. If you don't want him around, I'll tell him to get lost. But honey, I'm not cheating on you. Is that what he told you? He's lying. Me, stop it. I told you I went into your messages on your phone. You're going to get your stuff and you're going to go to your parents. I made copies of all your emails and screenshots from text messages. I don't want to show them what you two say to each other, but if you're going to keep lying to my face, I will. We are done. Go get your stuff. She tried, even in the face of all that, to play dumb and lie. But finally, tired of it, I pulled out my copies of their text messages and handed them to her. She looked at them for 2 seconds and then broke down crying hard. There we go. I've never seen her this devastated by anything. I even felt bad for her for a moment. She said she was sorry that it got out of hand, and she wanted to put the brakes on it, but he had gotten possessive and was threatening to expose her if she ended it with him. I told her that none of that was in the text messages and that she was still lying to me. She was going to go off and spend the weekend with him. This woman is disgusting. I'm sorry, she's disgusting. She then told me it's done between them and she'll make him go away, that she won't ever talk to him again. I told her I don't care what she does, but I've been talking to a lawyer and the divorce papers will be ready soon. At this point, she exploded and repeated, "You've been talking to a lawyer?" like 4 or 5 times, and honestly, I was ready to call the cops because she was closing in on me and really screaming now. I told her to calm down, that I had a camera going. She continued to break down and didn't resemble anyone I'd ever met before. She kept saying stuff like, "You just planned all this out," smiling to my face, "just planning this all out," which every time she did, I responded with the same, "Well, look at what you've been planning," and smiling to my face while you're out doing these things. I asked her why she'd do this to us, and at first, she couldn't give me a straight answer. She tried to tell me it was meaningless, so I responded with, "Oh, so you ruined us for no reason then? That's great." After a bit, she sort of got quieter, and I don't know if she was being honest or just trying to hurt me, but apparently, she really messed up with him in her eyes. She called him her soulmate, and I nearly started breaking things. I was asking her why she just didn't leave me for him in the beginning. I would have understood then, and she said she just needed to get away from him because she knew how bad she'd look to her family if she brought him back around. Apparently, they didn't like him either. She also said that she could never actually be with him because her ex and daughter would fight her on this, so going back to him legitimately was never an option. Then she said she was sorry and seemed to be in disbelief with how final I was with everything. She told me how much of a mistake it was, how much she would change, and do whatever I wanted her to do just to fix the situation. I told her no. She then told me we are not getting a divorce because she can make amends for this. I told her there was nothing she could do to earn my forgiveness. I would not forgive this ever. And somehow she had the nerve to be shocked by this. I told her that I opened an account at another bank and moved half from the joint account into it this morning, and that the rest is hers. She can either get it herself or I can get it for her, but the account is getting closed. She just nodded along and said we'd probably both have to go to the bank together to close it. She went and started packing her clothes up peacefully, crying a little and, oddly enough, making threats every so often that she had better not have anything missing. I let it roll off my shoulder and told her to take pictures of how she left her things and her daughter's things, so when she comes back, she'll see I didn't touch anything. Man, the nerve of this woman, like, are you serious? Her folks had been contacted and they are in disbelief. They are both surprised that Chris is even a factor in any of this and spent time apologizing to me, and soon after, she was out of my house. The next day, my soon-to-be ex hit my phone with so many "I love you, I'm sorry, we can fix this" text messages that I contemplated throwing my phone away. I wanted to just turn it off, but my ex-wife had my son, so I needed it on just in case of an emergency or changing plans when he was coming home. So I just started responding to her texts by sending screenshots of the worst parts of their conversations and saying nothing of my own. My ex returned with my son and brought dinner from my favorite Chinese place. I didn't give my son the exact reason why, I told him, but he was asking flat out whether she cheated because it was so sudden, and I told him he was right without elaborating. They stayed for a while before returning home, and I've just been kind of floating around the house trying to keep it together. It's like 2 or 3 days since I began writing this, and I'm off to the gym and then to my lawyers. This thing is already way too long, and things are updating so rapidly that I could be typing forever and never finish. My soon-to-be ex-wife's ex-husband is going to come by and collect his daughter's things, and I'll explain to her the best I can that if she ever needs me, I'm just a phone call away. I'm also contemplating telling her ex that she was seeing Chris behind his back as well, because she said many times he doesn't know, but maybe I won't, that accomplishes nothing really. Anyway, first fight has been fought, and it looks like I'm winning as much as I can, given the circumstances. Part of me wants to confront Chris, but I'm smart enough to know that would be a waste of time and energy, time better spent working or hitting the gym or finding some way to thank my ex-wife for being an absolute MVP in my corner through this. Anyway, that's all I've got for now. Sorry if this is disjointed, but it's taken me a couple of days to write, and of course, developments keep happening. Wow. Let me give my thoughts. Wow. So when I shared this story yesterday, a few of you mentioned in the comments, "Oh man, there's an update, and it's explosive, you've got to read it." And you were right. First of all, shame on her. The nerve. You can see all the gaslighting and the lying. It's sad because when I look back at his conversation with her, I've personally been through this. You're showing someone evidence and they're still denying it to your face. It's quite obvious, and yet they try to make you question yourself. The nerve of her to flat out lie, saying, he's been texting me and flirting, and I've just been ignoring him, when it's clear that's not the case. Lie after lie. This woman is a user. There's no way her first marriage ended because her husband was the cheater, it was her all along. She goes around lying and using people, and she's trying to use her husband here in the story. When she realizes the marriage is over, she has the audacity to worry about her belongings. Just disgusting. Guys, let's check out some comments. Someone says, 2 questions I don't know if you've addressed. You didn't mention your Facebook post in this update. You said you'd share it, but it's okay if you don't. How has the overall response been? Do you think your lawyer will be able to force your soon-to-be ex-wife to sue Chris for stealing? You mentioned that you live in a 50-50 state, so if she is forced to go through that legal avenue, you can definitely get out of this divorce a lot better than you thought you would. You literally have her on tape admitting that he did that and she admitting she should sue. I don't see why not. He responds, I was going to post the Facebook post, but someone pointed out that it could be used to identify me. I'd rather not have that happen. What I did say in the post was that with a heavy heart, I am seeking divorce because my soon-to-be ex-wife had an affair with an old boyfriend and explained that I was doing it publicly so people knew the truth. I don't know if I want to sue him, maybe I can use that as a threat to get her not to fight me in court. Another commenter says, that's totally understandable. If the post is public, it would be cool to see the comments underneath, names and profile pics blurred, obviously. Has your soon-to-be ex reacted to the post in any correspondence with you? I agree, though, the threat of being sued and the fact that she admitted to Chris being her soulmate makes it tough for her lawyers to not just concede to most of your demands. He replies, soulmate? You have to have a soul first. That is a soulless woman, I tell you. Someone else adds, please tell me you're going to expose her and her affair partner. Let it be known to everyone just how disgusting and heartless she has been. Don't let her get away with just the label of cheater. Her betrayal runs so deep, it needs to be known by everyone. He responds, I've done it. Another user points out, I forgot to mention the Facebook post. It was made, just in all the other info I was sharing, I forgot to mention it. Someone says, Dude, you handled this like James Bond. I hope I never go through this, but I'll be taking your guidance. Wow. So, everyone, let me know what you think about this. Whether you've already heard the update or if you're just now hearing it, what is your opinion? This woman is disgusting. Reading through that conversation he had with her, all that stuff in the emails, and she's still lying to his face, it hit me a little bit because I personally know how it feels. You're showing someone proof and they're still denying it. It sucks. Guys, let me know what you think about this, and I will stay on it. If you see that there's an update and I didn't catch it, just let me know, and I'll jump on it. But please don't tell me the story, I want to be surprised just like you. Again, I appreciate you guys. And that's the end of this video, everyone. If you have any thoughts you'd like to share, please leave a comment below. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you like this content. Turn on notifications to stay updated on my latest posts. See you next time.